I want to read. I want to read something out of one of my favorite books that I haven't really ever picked it up and read the whole thing, but I sometimes skim through it and see things that I like. I need to read the whole fucking thing though because it's gonna be a good book. It says the Canterbury Tales, Ambrus mcCaughrean by Randy McNally. It says, I want you guys to listen to this. Whoever, take this for what it is. Take this for what it is. Whoever can get something from it, awesome. In the old days of glory, when King Arthur's round table stood in Camelot, chivalrous knights sat and talked of love, damsels, embroidered tokens of love, embroidered tokens of love. Squires composed love songs, and jousts were fought over love. Hardly a word was spoken that was not of love. Only when men and women met did they talk about the weather instead. How blue the sky is, lady, a young man would say, and how warm the breeze, she would reply. And how is your mother, he would ask. Quite well, considering the weather, she would answer. Then he would bow, and she would smile, and they would go their separate ways. Think about that. Not having social media, not having nothing besides human connection physically and looking people in the eyes and speaking with them. All these people knew was to speak of love. Everything was this thing's it's called What Women Most Desire. It goes on. I'll read the rest of it. Quite well, considering the weather, she would answer. Then he would bow, and she would smile, and they would go their separate ways. So it was at Camelot until the hot-blooded Sir Salvio met one day with a lady in a wood. How blue the sky is today, said the lady, smiling encouragingly. Almost as blue as your lovely eyes. Lady, he said. The lady blushed. How prettily the water glistens into the brook. Almost as sweet to taste as a kiss of your lips. Almost as sweet to taste as a kiss of your lips, said the knight. And he helped himself to a kiss. The lady picked up her green skirts and shrieked and swooped like a parrot in and out of the trees, all the way back to the court. So the over-romantic knight was summoned before the assembly of the Round Table. This most starless of knights said, King Arthur has cast his shadow over an honorable lady in the wood. What punishment should he suffer? In one voice the knights cried, Death! Cut off his head! Sir Salvio was most dismayed, but he bowed low from the waist, and Arthur unsheathed his sword. One last question, said the knight, straightening up again. Perhaps the excellent Queen Guinevere can tell me, what exactly did I do to offend the lady in the wood? What did you do? Exclaimed the Queen. You spoke of kiss when you should have been talking about the weather. Ah, I see, said Salvio as he sighed, and bowed from the waist again. I don't think I understand, woman. The shadow of the sword touched his bare neck. The ladies of the court began to faint, like swaths of corn behind a sickle. They fell daintily to the floor. The Queen herself looked with regret. On Sir Salvio. His hair was the color of powdered sage, and as curly as the tender rills of a honeysuckle. Well, well, she said, fluttering her hands. Since this young man seeks to understand women, let him answer me this riddle. Let him tell me what women most desire, and he shall live. Arthur leaned wearily on his sword. You have 1 year and a day, boy, in which to discover what women most desire. As Sir Salvio left the court, his knees trembled and his heart still pounded. What chance did he stand of answering the Queen's riddle? What man can guess what a woman is thinking? What do women most desire? He pondered as his horse shambled along the country roads, beauty surely. But then he remembered money. Surely women wanted gold more than anything in the world. He passed a young farm girl on the road, arm in arm with a shepherd. Tell me, good girl, what do you want most in this world, to be rich or to be beautiful? The farm girl hung more heavily on the shepherd's arm and sighed. Neither, sir. All I want is to be married. Aha! The knight took out a quill and wrote on the sleeve of his shirt. Then he turned back, thinking to take the answer to the Queen at once. On the way he passed convent where nuns. On the way he passed a convent where nuns, as white as cankins of the milk in the morning sun, were tending a field of beans. What that girl told me cannot be true, thought Sir Salvio with dismay. So many women would choose to live unmarried. Just then he passed a roadside shrine. In front of it, a woman was down on her knees, praying fervently. Forgive me interrupting your prayers, said Sir Salvio, but what is it that you ask so earnestly of God? The woman got painfully to her feet and took up her baskets again. Only what every woman wants, I suppose, she said bitterly. I want to have a baby. Aha, he said, and noted her words on his sleeve. By sunset, there were 12 other notes written below. Below it, Sir Salvio's heart sank lower and lower. Only one answer could be right. How was he to choose it from the rest? He fingered his bare neck and thought of the sword awaiting it. Farther and farther afield he traveled. Taking ship, he sailed to a hot and passionate country, where gypsy women dressed in scarlet and their dark skins sweetened as they danced tarantulas under a turbine moon. What do women most desire? He asked a girl, as she whirled past his stirrup, tossing her lace-edged petticoats. Fun, of course, cried the gypsy. Fun and laughter and love and music and passion and the clash of the moon and the spark of the stars, and to stay young forever. If that doesn't get you going, I don't know what does. That's just, I'm not reading no more of that. I got shit to do. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed that.